Use it or lose it. Just like when you overconsume carbohydrates and how that impacts our ability to burn fat. When you go deep keto or super low carb, you actually downregulate your ability to tap into your fight or flight fuel, glucose, for those performance surge and that explosive energy. There is actually a time and place to make use of strategic carbohydrates. Yes, using carbs strategically can actually enhance and optimize your fat metabolism. In a previous blog post, I dove into why optimizing fat metabolism enhances carbohydrate utilization. But guess what? It goes the other way too. Carbs and sugars used strategically can actually improve your fat metabolism. Now, of course, used chronically in the way the conventional sports nutrition world recommends, carbs have a host of what I call unintended consequences. And it's like I say, it's not a question of if you're going to have a problem using a bunch of carbs. It is one of when and what form when you're consuming these massive amounts of carbohydrates to fuel your athletic pursuits. Now, of course, if you come from the keto, paleo, or low carb camps, you already know that a lot of carbs leads to the devil. But the devil's in the details, as they say, and thus there is actually a time and place to make use of strategic carbohydrates, which is a term I coined way back in 2008 when fat adaptation became my day job, literally, and it was heresy then. So without those occasional boluses of glucose, combined with OFM disruptive periodization training, you actually limit your performance potential no matter what energy substrate you're using. Use it or lose it. Just like when we overconsume carbohydrates and lose our ability to burn fat at the level evolution shaped us for, when we go super low on carbs and sugars, we compromise our ability to metabolize glucose at high rates. Now, this is principally due to the downregulation of the pyruvate dehydrogenase enzyme, or PDH for short. With limited PDH, we limit our ability to push ourselves at the very threshold of aerobic metabolism, as well as those anaerobic pushes. And it is important to maintain our fight or flight pathways as our aerobic base energy. When fat adapted, those occasional consumptions of glucose, fructose, and even alcohol, these are your friends because your liver actually will store these as readily available liver fat to be quickly converted to fatty acids, ketones, and even glucose to meet the metabolic need of training and competition so that you can perform instead of limit yourself. Liver fat and liver metabolism in the context of fat adaptation is not the runaway train of metabolic disease seen in sedentary people who are chronically over-consuming alcohol, fructose, and sugar to wind up with fatty liver disease. It's actually quite the opposite. And while there are tons of variables that factor into optimizing your metabolic health and performance, here are some of the main reasons why strategic carbs actually enhance your ability to perform on fat. First of all, your body needs regular bouts of adaptive stress to adapt to and maintain and increase strength and robustness. This is part of the cycle of life. By bolusing with extra strategic carbohydrates, you give your body the ability to push harder when the difficulty of the workload pushes against you. This creates the adaptive stress, or hormesis, to get stronger, fitter, and more robust. And secondly, this hormetic response from the stress causes our cells to become more robust too. And this happens on a mitochondrial level. During the recovery phase, where carbohydrates are low and nutritional delivery is high, via fat metabolism, your cells build more mitochondria via mitochondrial biogenesis, meaning your cells have more mitochondria and each of those mitochondria become more robust. And this increases the mitochondrial potential, which increases your ability to oxidize fat in two ways: the rate of fat you can burn and the ability to metabolize fat at higher intensity levels of exercise. Of course, this also gives you the ability to burn more glucose when you need it. Now, third, insulin. Yes, insulin, because in the context materials, insulin is actually one of the most anabolic hormones when used sparingly in an insulin-sensitive environment. In this anabolic state, insulin helps build your muscles and cells. Those occasional hits of carbs help drive the anabolic effects of insulin so you can perform better and not limit yourself without affecting your fat metabolism and, as a result, improving it. Now, as you can see, there is this really tight yet complex and complementary relationship between optimal fat metabolism and optimal use of carbohydrates. It is actually our current binary compartmentalized thinking that creates this conflict. Dare I say, this is not too far off from other human condition situations where binary thinking breeds relationships of conflict rather than complementary ones. So let's consider the ancient Chinese philosophical mantra of yin-yang, the concept of duality, of seemingly opposing forces that not only coexist in harmony, but each is dependent upon the other. Optimizing your fat metabolism grows your tolerance to carbohydrates to get the most out of them, while at the same time, strategic carbohydrates helps to increase your fat metabolism. This is why OFM is what I term as a dynamic matrix rather than a static, binary, and one-size-fits-all program. So if you are tired of conflict and want to get your body back into harmony with the physiology and metabolism nature shaped us for, you can do the following. First of all, learn more by jumping on one of our websites at vespapower.com or ofm.io. You can also download either or both of our ebooks, Beyond Keto or Conquering the Terrible Threes. Once again, available on those websites. And third, you can grab a 12-pack of Vespa and, without changing a thing, experience what performance fat adaptation is all about.